For years, we've been telling you to get rid of all of those things you're storing in your parking space. What gives with that? Is it the fire code? Is it safety? What gives the board the right to tell you what you can or can't put in a parking space that you purchased? Today, we're going to get through some of that, talk a little bit about it, and hopefully understand it. And listen, while we're in the underground garage, why do I have to be there to have a car towed from my parking spot? Interesting questions. I'm Murray Johnson, and today I'm joined by Bob Vertatschitsch. Bob?
Yep.
You're with Scion Coulter Engineers and Building Scientists. You're a project director there.
Exactly.
And so you deal with this stuff all the time.
That's right.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to see if you can't help us out as we work our way through this. You know, we managers and directors, we're always looking to keep the underground free of storage. But what basis are these rules made on? Because everybody has a different point of view. Fire code, what gives here?
Well, the fire code is really the driving force behind these regulations dealing with storage and parking garages. And the fire code focuses on two main issues: keeping combustible materials out of the garage and any obstructions that would prevent people from getting out of the garage quickly if there was a fire. And you know, this basically means that nothing should be stored in the garage, because in the event of a fire, there could be heavy smoke, the power could be out, and people might, well, they tend to feel their way along walls to find the exits. So they could easily trip over items that people have stored against the walls. So it's a big issue for the fire code. But aside from the safety issues, whenever we do cleaning or power washing in the garage, there's a good chance that, you know, your personal items could get water damaged or tossed around from the water, the high pressure water. So that's another issue.
Oh, good point. Yeah, and of course they'd go right after the condo to have that fixed, for sure.
Right.
Okay, I get it. So beyond aesthetics, there's some real life safety issues going on here. So while we're still in the garage, let me ask you about this, and I just alluded to it at our opening. Somebody's been parking in my space downstairs, and now I've been told I have to be there to have that vehicle towed out of my parking space. I mean, doesn't management look after this? After all, they just sent me a letter to get rid of all my storage down there.
Right. Well, normally, you know, issues in the garage would be a management issue, but when we talk about owned spaces or deeded spaces or even exclusive use parking spaces, that's a different story. In many cases, the municipality codes and bylaws see the person who has rights to the space as the owner of the space, and for the purpose of parking enforcement. So this means that you would need to contact the city yourself if you needed to get a car towed or ticketed from your spot. The condo corporation can't necessarily help you in that case because it's considered private property according to the municipality. So this also means that you would need to be present when the parking authority comes to do the ticketing, because you need to prove that you are in fact the owner of that space. So you want to have your documentation with you at that time. And if you're going to have a car towed, you may actually have to pay for that tow up front and then try to collect the money later. So that's another issue to deal with. But the rules may change from city to city. So you want to look at your own particular condo and your situation before you get into a situation.
Wouldn't that, Bob, expose you to some sort of retaliation, though? I mean, if I have to be there and sign something and show documentation and then your car gets towed, there's no telling what you could do to me.
Yes, that's true. If the owner of the car happens to be there at the same time, the only good news is that your name doesn't normally appear on the ticket, so that's some
comfort in there. All right. Well, that makes sense, and I guess that prevents me from having my loud neighbor's car towed because I have to prove it's my spot.
Right.
So while we're still in the garage, then again, there's a lot of letters that go back charging people who park down there because there's a little bit of an oil spill on the floor, and sometimes it's not even a full-fledged spill; it's just a bit of a stain. What's that all about?
Well, most fluids from cars, especially gasoline, can seriously damage the asphalt driveways and even the waterproofing membrane in parking garages. So if fluids are left on the membrane for a long period of time, they can eventually wear through the membrane to the point where water is able to soak into the concrete, and that can cause serious damage to the steel reinforcing in the slab. So the Condo Corporation, well, you know, of course, oil spills are also slippery, and so that's a safety issue for the corporation. So the corporation wants to get these issues cleaned up fairly quickly, not only from a safety issue, but preventative maintenance perspective. The other issue is that chemical cleaners are usually needed to properly clean up and neutralize these spills. So the condo may want to hire a contractor to do that who has the experience and knowledge with it. And because the membrane and the garage floor are common elements, the Condo Act allows the corporation to back charge the unit owner for the cost of that cleaning. And that can be a bit of a shock to people. So it's probably a good idea to include some of this information in newsletters from time to time so that people understand the implications, and they may even be willing to, more willing to fix their leaky car before they get hit with a back charge.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So I just can't go to the grocery store and buy Mr. Clean and go and clean it up myself. There's more to it. Well, thanks for that, Bob. It seems that there's a lot more to the underground garage than simply someplace to park. And certainly, it's not a storage locker. Until next time, I'm Murray Johnson, and this has been your Condo Connection.